We'll call the meeting to order at whatever time it is. I can't see.
5:35.
5:35. Laura should be joining us. Who's running the meeting? You, Matt?
Bill is the host at the moment.
Okay. So anyways, just when you see Laura come in,
Yep.
let her in.
You got it?
So the first item we had on the agenda was an executive session at 5:31. So we're 4 minutes late already.
Want the motion?
Please, Mark.
I move to find that premature general public knowledge regarding labor relations agreement with employees would put the board at substantial disadvantage because the school board's risk disclosing its negotiation strategy if the proposed contract terms are discussed in public.
Do I have a second to that motion that Mark moved?
Kate seconds.
Okay, so Mark moved, Kate seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 It appears to be unanimous.
I make a motion for the board to enter executive session under Title I, Section 313 of the Vermont Statutes for labor relations agreement with employees, 313A1. I, River Valley's master agreement negotiations.
Do I have a second to that motion?
Kate seconds.
Thank you, Kate. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 It appears to be a unanimous decision. It is. So we're in an executive session. So by unanimous consent, we're out of executive session at, I have 5:50. And then there's no decisions made and the board will, the chair will put together a response and submit it at the next meeting to the board to review and approve. So being that we're 10 minutes earlier than we thought we were, we're gonna wait till 6 o'clock to actually start going through the agenda. Because we warned it for 6 o'clock and if people are...
No, we warned it for 5:30, we're fine.
Are you sure? Because we said we'd be out of executive session for 6. So
It's
people
true.
were gonna say, I'm gonna wait till they're over their executive session and then join the meeting.
Could.
We might discuss something that is very important to them.
12 minutes is time for a cookie.
Yeah, hey, if you guys are all here, you could be having some of these Vermont cookies and they're very, very good.
Okay, how about, could we deal with meeting in January?
I think we should
should
to
follow
do it,
that.
right, because I think people
I
could
agree with you.
complain. And I hate to do it, I'm really sorry.
No worries, we're early. That's the master Lori sent you.
Yeah.
Can we
No,
call
I didn't want to see it. I was going to do mine first.
Okay.
And then see how
recess
close I
for 10
was.
minutes?
Yeah, we can call recess for 10 minutes. Thank you, Mark. Good idea. Okay, so we're out of executive. We came out of executive session early. We took a short recess because we did put on the agenda to start at 6 o'clock. So are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Yes.
One quick one. Our minute taker is retiring, so I want to thank him and discuss what we're going to do about minutes.
Okay, why don't we do that under the superintendent can report? Yeah. As soon as we get through before presentations, I don't think, we'll do it right in the old business section.
Okay.
Because that, you can do that and then you can take off.
Okay.
Okay, is there anything else, additions or deletions to the agenda? Okay, hearing none, members of the public, I see Tom Cushing is here for solar. Jenny, are you here with solar or are you here as public? Jenny?
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yeah?
Yep, I'm with Thomas. I'm helping out with the solar.
Okay, thank you. I just noticed Thomas's name because we've been exchanging emails. So give us a couple minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't see any members of the staff. So I guess Thomas and Jenny, we're on to you. So you folks, you had sent us some paperwork and asked us to do, to sign a new form with you folks. You are the ones that have purchased and moved on with the with our solar array. And you asked us to sign a form, and the board had reviewed that, and they were concerned because you had updated the whatchamacallit,
Survey?
the survey, the property survey. And so when we looked at it, it seemed to be quite a bit different, or some people had some questions. So can you just tell us about that?
Of course, and Thomas, feel free to jump on in if you would like to add anything additional, but.
Hey, wait, I'm sorry, before we go any further, can you guys just introduce yourselves and make sure that Peter, our minute taker, knows who you are and has your name spelled right, so in 100 years when your grandchildren are researching you, they can make sure they get you?
Absolutely. So my name is Jenny Bartos. Jenny is Jenny. Last name is Bartos, Bartos.
And I am Thomas Cushing, Thomas Cushing. I am the contact for the solar plant on behalf of Greenbacker Capital. We had purchased the system last year from Nexum Energy, and we are now the owner-operators of that system, and so I'm the main contact.
Okay, thank you, folks. So go ahead, Jenny. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Sorry, could I missed the name of something or other capital?
Greenbacker.
Greenback.
Isn't it
Greenbacker.
Backer.
Greenbacer.
So you guys are the purchasers of the solar array?
Correct.
Thank you.
Correct.
Okay, Jenny, sorry.
No worries. So as Thomas mentioned, Greenbacker acquired this project in 2021 and are now the new owner-operators of the project. The original lease for the project had a description of what that lease site was going to be. However, it did not include a specific meets and bounds of the property and just said plus or minus 5 acres. So it was a very general description. When Greenbacker became the owner operator, they had to create a survey which accurately represents where the solar array is. In order to do that, we contacted a surveyor who required that they go out and create a meets and bounds legal description, which is them going to the site and plotting where the solar array is, and then creating the lease amendment that is in front of you all. So what this lease amendment is doing is just clarifying the property records to show that the lease site has this very specific description in the meets and bounds, and that is where the solar panels are located. This is necessary because the original lease did not have a specific description, and so it was ambiguous as to the exact location. So what this is doing is just updating all parties as to the exact location and was necessary in order for the land survey to be created.
Okay.
And happy to answer any questions that you all may have on that.
Oh, just one other, excuse me, it's not Greenback, it's Greenbacker?
Yes.
Correct.
Thank you.
And just, I guess, for the records as well, I'm an attorney with K&L Gates. I don't know if that needs to be reflected in the minutes as well.
No, but it'd be good for your ancestors to see that. Your future, your future generations.
Name.
Yep, this will be your claim to fame. You're on TV.
Oh, wow. A lot of power.
Yeah, there you go.
A question.
Go ahead, Laura, and then I'll let you go.
Question for Bill or Matt or you. I'm not sure whom. I think actually it's probably for you, Richard. So if I understand correctly, the new owner of the array has to accurately depict the site in terms of the measures, and it was not specific enough when the measures were not accurate. They weren't specific. They were general in the original lease. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
So, and now we are, the new owner needs to, is required, is that right?
Yes, correct.
To depict an accurately measured site that they are leasing for their owned array, right?
Yes.
And remind me how long that lease is for?
20 years, isn't it, with a renewal?
Okay. And so then my question for you, Richard, is with no disrespect intended at all to our guests and the new purchasers of the array, how do we know that their measures are accurate with regard to our intent?
So what I was going to do, Laura, is I was going to ask a question that would be recorded in the timeline of, so basically, when we leased the land, the company went in there and we made an agreement to give them up to 5 acres. And Jenny, please correct me if I'm wrong. And what they did was they said, okay, we like that. That will work for us. They went in and they built the array. And they had a map of what they were going to do, but I think the surveyor came out and laid it out, and Bill, you were here when that was going on. But it may not have been, it was never like the as-built. When it was done, they never sent anybody back out to make sure that everything was proper. So, you know, the surveyor put out some grade stakes and contracting stakes and said, this is your area. The company came in and built it, and then they left, and nobody ever confirmed that it was in the right spot. You know, if they were off 10 feet or 20 feet, it didn't really matter. It's not an area we were really using anyways. So we never cared about that. And I believe that what happened is with this new company coming in, they're required to make sure that this has to be proper. So I believe that's why they now come to us and said, would you please accept this? So I am pretty good with it. Jenny, how many acres was it when you finished the survey?
3.442.
Oh, and you're paying us for 5. We like that.
Correct.
Up to 5.
Yeah, it was up to 5. So I
have
think.
another question, Bert?
Yeah, go ahead. Hey, and Jenny and Thomas, just so you know, Laura is one of our board members. That's who's talking.
So, Richard, what is the worst case scenario if, say, we are on somebody else's property line here, or if that measurement is not 100% accurate? What's the worst case? Like, do we know what that is?
Well, I believe it's well within our property. Remember, we have 30 acres altogether.
Well, is it well within our property? Because if it's well within our property, if we're sure it's well within our property and not on our property line, then I think my question's done.
Just to hop in, yeah, it's well within the boundaries of the property.
Great, thank you, I'm done.
Okay. Thank you, Laura. Go ahead, Mark. You were next.
Yeah, so my concern / question from the beginning was what we received just referenced Appendix A, which was the new survey. We never actually saw that survey. We never actually received a copy of it.
Oh, yeah, there was a copy with it.
Unless you received one, it wasn't in what we were
Okay.
given.
I
believe Thomas just sent one out in the last bunch of information.
Yeah, I believe I sent one last week. Give me one moment. Let me check my email for that.
Can we allow him to, do you have it electronically? If we made you a co-host, you could put it up for us?
I sent it to RJW
Right.
at WVCT.com on last Monday.
Yeah, no, but we had asked for it way back a couple months ago. When did we discuss this last? And
It's been going on for months now.
yeah, so I didn't print it. I thought I'd forwarded that to all you folks, but I guess I didn't. So can we,
I can make him a code.
Thomas, if we make you a co-host, can you put that up, the survey up, so people can see it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so by the power vested in us as the board, we're gonna empower Bill to make you a co-host, who is our superintendent.
Yeah.
Thomas is now a co-host.
Go ahead, sir, you're a co-host now. Enjoy the power.
All right.
But don't put anything bad up there, because we'll have to take your power away.
Put all our company secrets up.
Yeah, put your next great investment up.
Perfect.
Okay, can you see it on, can you look
I
on
can.
Zoom in there, and you may be able to blow it up?
Hold on 1 second. And then-
Let me get into the meeting.
Look at that. That's nice.
And can you folks see that now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you folks, can everybody on Zoom see it okay? Laura, Chad?
I can see it, Kate.
Okay. Laura,
I'm all set.
Laura, can you see it?
She's on the phone. Right.
Yeah.
I cannot see it, Richard, because I have had to dial in. I don't have my Wi-Fi.
Okay, but if you look at this, Laura, we're a good 50 feet from any of our property lines. Anyways,
Well, you're 50 feet from the road.
yeah.
Our property extends to the other side of Woodman Road, is that correct?
No.
No?
No, see lot 39 is ours, lot 40, lot 41, lot 18, and everything around the loop, around the
Just
goal.
like that one, okay.
So what happened was the school was originally built on that corner, and then there was a time that Tom Rail was offering to sell the land to the school and the town. The town was going to buy 30 acres, and we were going to buy 30 acres. And then the town, the school board went behind, and I wasn't part of it, went behind the town's back and made a separate deal to just buy the land. And at that time, if we ever were to expand, and that's before the addition was built, we would need to have so many square feet of property per student. So they wanted to buy that to allow us to expand in the future. So we bought the land, and then we've had it ever since. Does that make sense, everybody? Is everybody clear with that? Are you good with that?
I'm good with that, yes. Thank you.
So are we all set with the map then? Are you set? This was your question.
Yep, nope, I'm all good. We have a copy of that
Yes.
for the record, okay.
Yep. Okay, so go ahead and we can close that, Thomas.
Yep.
So then can you just explain again why else you need us to sign off? Because we've already signed one, so, or Jenny, if that's you, I'm sorry.
Nope, all good. So y'all will just need to sign the lease amendment. That's just updating the Exhibit A to reflect the meets and bounds that the surveyor went out and created, which is in the survey that we all just reviewed together.
Okay, and that's the form we looked at a couple months ago when we first, and Mark made the comment that there wasn't the survey, and we want to make sure we had that, so, go ahead.
I move that we have the chair sign the amended lease. Is that the right language?
Sure.
Jenny? Amended lease?
8 seconds.
Okay, we have a motion by Mark and a second by Kate. Before we go any further, Peter, you had a question, sir?
Somebody keeps saying leaps and bounds.
Meets and bounds. Meets, M-E-E, meets. I meet you at the store.
Oh, got it, thank you.
It's when they do the surveying, they make sure that everything fits.
Got it.
So, but that wasn't Mark's motion. Did you get Mark's motion?
Yes, authorize the chair to sign the lease amendment for the solar array.
Sure. And
Got it.
Kate seconded the motion. Any other comments? Jenny, Thomas, you guys all good?
All good.
All good. Thank you so much.
Okay. If nobody else has any comments, or you're all ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
What happened to Dwight?
Right.
Yep. You're good.
Where's Dwight?
He's on phone.
Oh, wasn't he in the video earlier?
He lost that.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, Dwight, thanks. So it appears to be a unanimous decision in the affirmative. It is, so I think we're all set, Mr. Cushing and Ms. Bartos. Thank you very much. I'll get that signed tomorrow, and I'll scan it and send it back to you.
Wonderful, thank you. Would you actually be able to send the original back to, Thomas can provide the address to you all?
Yeah, Thomas, if you would, send me to that RJW email, send me the right form, I'll sign it, and I'll scan it, send it to you, and then I'll drop it in the mail.
Perfect. Yep, I will follow up with an email after the meeting. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you. So just so everybody knows, Bill had created this solar project file for me. It's this big file right here. See how thick it is? We're going to add that to this file, and then I'm going to entrust this to Matt, one copy, and one copy to Bill for the central office, so that if you ever have any more questions, we can deal with that. Now, Thomas, I also asked you about reassigning some of our credits because the fire district has become more energy efficient. And with COVID, we found that we wound up losing some credits, so we'd like to be a little bit more nimble and be able to change that. So you said I just need to get you the account numbers of the properties that we want to change to?
Yeah, if you just send me how you would like to change the allocations, like whether percentage based or anything of that nature, I can start working with that with Green Mountain Power.
Okay, so I got another quick question for you. Maybe you can help me with this.
Yeah, of course.
In 2016, we generated 815 kWh. In 2017, 801. In 2018, 760. In 2019, 812. In 2020, 832. And we haven't seen 2021's totals yet. How come, I thought these were supposed to degrade after every year, and like they had a 10, 12-year lifespan. And that was why we had originally been discussing trying to buy the array at one point to town when it wasn't a joint school district. How come we're creating a lot more?
I would have to maybe check that against your weather. That could very much be just differentiation of more sun versus less sun over the course of the year.
And the angle of the Earth versus sun changes on a 20-some-odd day.
Interesting.
Rotation. So.
And then my other question is, we've had some discussion, like when we first set this up with the original group, we did the North Branch Fire District, which is a municipality within a municipality. They're a taxing group. And we did the town and we did the school. They were all, I forget the exact terminology they used when we first agreed to this. But like we couldn't bring on homeowners and we couldn't bring on businesses. It had to be a municipal type entity. Is that still the case, or can we bring in like there's a fire department in Eastover that's it's a private corporation, but it's somewhat supported by the town, and can we also bring in like the Dover Historical Society, which is not a municipal group, but it's it's a nonprofit that helps make the town better. Are those eligible to be brought in also?
I'd have to definitely check on that. I don't want to give you an incorrect answer on that, so I'll follow up with Green Mountain Power on that.
Oh, it's Green Mountain Power that says that, not you folks? We thought that was part of the agreement with you all.
I would have to definitely dive in a little bit deeper on that. I know Green Mountain Power is the entity that would allow us to add or subtract outside of the fact that there's already an agreement there. So I'd want to check with them to see if it would actually be possible for us to move forward with such a thing before trying to dive into the agreement to change it.
Okay,
Can I make sure I understand what the question is that you're asking?
go ahead.
I'm not sure what you're asking. Are you asking if we can add people onto this?
Yeah, because right now the fire district doesn't use all their power. So they would like us to, they would like to give some of it back because they've been getting more credits than they use. We had used a lot more credits than we used back during COVID, obviously, because there was nobody in the building. But we're in pretty good shape now. Because remember, whatever that plant generates, we pay 85% of the generation to this company. And the 15% is our savings, each person's savings. But if you give back too much of it, then you're not really having a 15% savings. So what I'm asking is, who else can be an off-taker of this solar array? And that's what...
In our town?
Probably almost anywhere it can be.
So I want to make sure that I understand what the effect is that you think would happen here, Richard. So is the effect that there would be more benefit for our town and less for the purchaser?
No, it doesn't change anything to the purchaser. What it changes is that the entities that are off-takers will get their full 15% savings versus leaving credits on the table, because the credits go away after a year.
Okay.
So just as an example, let's say that we all generate $1,000 worth of credits every month for a year. So that's $12,000. Yeah?
I just want to disclose that I serve on the Energy and Technology Committee in the Vermont Legislature, and I'm concerned that I might have a conflict of interest, and so I will be recusing myself from this vote.
Well, there's no vote.
I will be recusing myself from further discussion.
Okay. So just so everybody understands, make sure everybody else is on board, is that everything that so we have no clue what this solar array is going to generate every year. And as Mr. Cushing was saying, it depends on the weather, as Mark said, how the earth is tilted. You know, if we all run to one way real quick and stop and it moves the earth.
Not a school bus.
Sun, all sorts of neat stuff. And so we don't know what it's going to generate, but we agreed to take 50% of the generation, and the fire district agreed to take 25%, and the town agreed to take 25%. So if it generates $1,000, that's $1,000 that gets credited to the Dover School. The Dover School then writes a check to Greenbacker for 85% of that, or $850. So let's say we only use $600 worth of energy that month. There's $400 worth of energy that carries forward. But every month, if there's something that carried forward in the previous 12 months, that drops off and we lose that credit. So during COVID, we generated, say, $12,000 worth of electricity that we paid Greenbacker for, or whoever owned it at that time. But then we didn't use that much electricity, so we actually wound up giving back credits of, say, like $100 or $200. It's not a lot, but it wasn't as great a deal for us. We still saved money, but we didn't save as much money as we could have if we kind of maximize our credit. So Lori Garland is supposed to be looking into this for us and trying to do a spreadsheet for us to see what the optimum number we should be requesting out of this array. The fire district has already done it, and they would like to give away a certain amount of the energy. The town can take some more on because some of their meters are not part of this. They came in after we signed this agreement, like the street lights on the $1 Million Mile to Nowhere down Route 100. So there's some other opportunity for some savings in some different areas. So we asked about the Wardsboro School, but they're tied into the West River deal, which I don't, is a lot different. It's a little different than ours. You only get 10% reimbursement, or?
Yeah, I don't know the details, but.
Yeah, it's a little different, but we can't transfer any of the credits to the Wardsboro building, but we want to see if there's other things we can. Does that make sense to everybody besides Laura? Since she's abstaining?
You just want to find out who we
Who we
put
can,
offload to.
right, who we
That's it.
can move some credits to. Dwight, are you good with that? Chad, you all set?
Yep, makes sense.
Kate, you good?
All good.
Mark, you all set?
I'm all good.
Okay, so Thomas, does that make sense to you? Is it as clear as mud, or are you wishing you never came and got involved with the Dover School?
No, it's definitely clear. I will check on our end and check with Green Mountain Power just to see what that would look like. If we can add other accounts to this net metering deal and see how that work, changing the allocation.
Okay, but Thomas, so you did miss
Yeah.
a little bit. It's not other accounts, because if the school was to decide to put air conditioning in, and we had a separate meter for that, I was told that in our agreement, we were told that that was something we can do. It's not other accounts, it's other entities to add their accounts, not besides the town, the fire district, and the school district.
Yes. No, I understand this, and yeah, you were saying, the nonprofit, the historical, anything outside the municipality type entities in this. Yes, I can check with Green Mountain Power on this. I'll check our agreements and see if it does spell out a way to go forward with that.
So we're going to meet sometime the first week of January, the beginning of the second week. Do you think you could get an answer for me by then?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I appreciate it. Is there any other questions? I guess your partner, Jenny, left you. She said she bailed on you.
No worries. Yeah, she's helping us run point with that amendment, so that's mostly what she was here for. But I'm also open to any other questions if you have them about the solar array while you have me.
Yeah, please do, because our contacts change a lot here.
Yeah, for sure.
Does anybody else have any general questions about the solar array, or any confusion? I know, Chad, you and I talked quite a bit about it, so is there anything that you never got answered?
No, not at this point, because, as we talked about, we weren't really sure with the minutes that we'd come forth from, prior to the joining of the schools under RVUSD. And, we had asked about the sale, and you mentioned that at the beginning of the discussion with both Jenny and Thomas, in your comment about the degradation of the array itself. So, as you mentioned, with that confusion of paperwork, there were a couple different entities when you first signed on for an array that had approached the Dover School and the town about installing one. So it seems like all the information is slightly clearer than mud, as you'll say, but it definitely makes sense to move forward.
Kate, you good? Thumbs up? You also? Okay, so I think we're all good. Thomas, I'm sorry it took so long and you had to wait through the executive session, but we appreciate your time.
No worries at all. And you have my information if anyone else has any other questions later on.
Okay, I appreciate it, sir.
Yeah, of course. Everyone have a great night.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.
Can I ask a little quick question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you don't happen to have a copy of Act 127 on your computer, do you?
I do not.
Okay. Legislature's website is down.
Really?
Trying to get it. I've tried 3 different networks.
Okay, Mark, what did I do with my agenda? Okay, so presentation, parent survey results. Bill, are you involved in this?
Nope.
Do you mind if I put this off for a minute?
Yeah, do you mind if we put it off till the next meeting?
Perfect.
Okay, thank you. We're trying to arrange a presentation with staff and we haven't pulled it together yet.
Okay.
So with the staff would come to present, or you
Yeah.
present it to them first?
No, we'd like to have them present it to you, so
Okay, Dwight's back on TV. Hi, Dwight.
Jan.
Okay, so,
Thanks.
God,
old business. We have so is that the next meeting, Matt, or you want to do it later in the month?
It could be, depending on how it works for your schedule, the next meeting or the second meeting in January is.
I think we could probably, well, let's see what the agenda looks like.
See what it looks like.
Kate, will you make a note of that? How long do you guys think you need, Matt, Tammy?
What do you think, Tammy? Maybe 15 minutes?
Yeah, that would probably suffice. I mean, there's two different surveys, or it's the same survey, but two different schools. So probably, I would say 20 minutes, 10 minutes each.
got it.
Okay, thank you, folks. Okay, so then let's move on to ballot warning, articles of agreement.
You want to do minutes so Bill could leave?
Do you have something for them?
No.
Because we've been doing the minutes at the end of the meeting.
No, talking about Peter.
No, he's involved with the ballot warning and the timeline for the votes. Then we can, if there's anything else we don't need. So ballot warning articles. So we got emailed to us today, and Bill forwarded it, and Mark again noticed that. Oh, I've got it right here. So anyways, the attorney went through this. He took our direction that we voted on last time, and Article 2 was changed to shall the voters approve the following amendments to the River Valley Unified School District Articles of Agreement, budget, elections, and public questions, and the first two paragraphs are crossed out. Elections of Unified District Board members shall be conducted by Australian ballot at a warned annual or special meeting of the district following requirements of 16 VSA 730. Upon closing the polls, the ballots will be transported to a central location designated by the district clerk. The ballot should be commingled and then counted by representatives of the boards of civil authority of the two towns under the supervision of the district clerk. And then the legal voters are further notified that voter qualification registration relative to said annual meeting shall be provided in sections Chapter 11 of Title 16 and Chapters 43, 51, and 55 of Title 17, Vermont Statutes annotated. And the polling place for this will be residing in their respective towns will cast their ballots from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. and their polling place designated for the community as follows. In the town of Dover, it's a town hall. In the town of Wardsboro, it's a town hall. And then we did, Nanny McLean made a suggestion, which we've been doing on the annual meetings, is to have a signature page at the end. So there's a spot for all 6 board members.
So just to let the board members out in Zoom land know, so after it says Town of Wardsboro Town Hall, where it says attest, that'll be the 4th page. Just so it's on a separate sheet of paper.
So is there any discussion? Go ahead, Mr. Schauber.
So just for the record, I will be voting for this, but it is not because I approve of Article 1, which I actually disapprove of.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other comments? Hearing none, would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll move it.
Okay, we have a motion by Mark to approve the warning for the special meeting on February 27th, 2023. Do I have a second?
Kate will second.
Okay, Kate seconds the motion. Any discussion?
Yeah,
Yes,
actually,
go ahead.
one question. Is there another meeting scheduled to postpone the annual meeting?
Yes, but let's do this
Okay.
one first.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
that I wasn't missing something. Okay.
Right. So, is everybody ready to vote? All those in favor, please signify so by saying aye.
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 Is that Laura?
That was Laura.
Okay, it appears to be a unanimous decision in the affirmative. It is a unanimous decision in the affirmative. So I'm going to take this, and Mark and I are going to sign, and then I'm going to drop this off with Andy tomorrow. And then I'd ask everybody to stop at the Dover Town Clerk's office if you could in the next week or two and just sign this. Peter, can you just make sure you have the motion, correct?
Yes, I need the date of the meeting, the special meeting dated what?
February 27th, 2023.
Got it. Okay,
Okay, Bill, can you share the special meeting to do the article, to postpone the annual meeting? Do you have that? I emailed it to everybody and Andy made one comment on it. I forget what it was. So this is the original. So the next item, timeline for votes. So what we're going to ask is that on this February 27th at 7:30, so that we can have count the votes first, and Andy felt pretty comfortable that we should be able to count the votes because it's not a lot of choices. It's either yes or no, and there's only 2 articles. That we would have a meeting on right after that at 8, a live meeting with the electorate to request that we move the annual meeting to the fourth Monday, the fourth Tuesday in April, and the first one would be April 28th.
Anybody check to see if there are any holidays like Passover then?
There's probably a holiday on any day that we would pick, but
We purposely made sure not to be on Passover or Easter.
okay. So can everybody see this that Bill put up?
Is it the 4th Tuesday of April?
Yeah, go down, Bill.
April 25th.
Oh, April 25th, not the 28th. I'm sorry.
You're right, there is a holiday, but it is not a major one.
Okay. I said, is it National Hamburger Day?
No, it's Yom HaZikaron.
Okay.
It's a Jewish holiday.
So is everybody good with this? Is there any questions, comments, thoughts?
Do we need a quorum or minimum number of public for that? Okay.
No, it's just like the annual meetings. I mean, we've had some where we've had 5 people at. And then we've had some where we've had 150. It's kind of a crapshoot.
So the 28th is a Tuesday?
25th.
25th, the February 28th. Build it.
Oh,
Right, February 28th is a Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, if there's not, would somebody be willing to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we move this forward.
Okay, so we approve the warning for the special meeting on February 28th at 7:30.
Yes.
Peter, are you good with that motion? Yeah, a second.
yes, would you repeat it, please?
Kate moved to approve the warning for the February 28th, 2023 special school district meeting to postpone the annual meeting.
Got it.
I thought you said 8 o'clock. That's at 7:30.
Oh, yeah, it is 7:30. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Andy thought we could do it at 7, but I don't know how we're going to get the votes over there. So that's why we did 7:30. Polls close at 7.
So, and the vote has to be completed by 7 p.m., doesn't it?
Right.
Within 24 hours.
Right.
So then why couldn't we start the meeting at? If we've got to finish the vote count by 7, why couldn't we start the meeting
No,
at 7?
the voting ends at 7, then you count the votes. And then we will have our meeting.
You voting the same day or the day before? I thought we were voting the day before. missing, I'm confused.
You have 24 hours.
Right.
So they're going to stop the voting, right, at 7 o'clock on Monday,
Right.
from 10 to 7, right? Andy's going to commingle them with the other town clerk.
Right.
They're all together. They're physically right there, okay, at 6:59. You count the votes in that 30-minute period. You know the results, and then at 7:30 you start the meeting.
Right. It's the same day.
It's the same day or the day after? It's the day after.
You have 24
Oh,
hours.
what date
It's
did
the
we
day
make
after.
the, what?
It's the day after.
The voting's on Monday,
Oh.
27th.
and then but doesn't the count have to be completed by 7 PM on the 28th?
7 p.m. on the 28th, that's fine. They can start at 6:30, they can start at 6. It doesn't make any
Why
difference.
wouldn't we then start the meeting at 7?
Because
7 o'clock?
I'm giving us.
They just wanted space.
I'm adding some, yeah.
Just in
That's
case.
what I was just-
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
maybe,
You're thinking, that, yeah.
maybe there's.
We have to be there by 6:30.
Yes,
in order to-
I would guess everyone's going to gather at 6.
Okay.
You're going to count them all.
And the other
And we're
thing
gonna have
is,
dinner.
this is not a, it shouldn't be a difficult vote count, but I just, in case something happens,
Just wanted to make sure we
Yeah.
were gonna be, that Andy was gonna be able to record that we finished the count by 7 PM on that day.
Right.
That was my concern.
yeah,
Yes.
the count is not a warned meeting.
No, the count just has to be completed
Completed
and
by 7
certified
p.m.
by the clerk by 7 p.m.
Right.
within 24 hours.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was confused, but are you good now?
I'm good, yeah.
Okay, if everybody's good, let's take the warning down. Mark, did you second that?
I did, yes.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any questions? Any comments? Are you ready to vote? All those in favor, please signify so by saying aye.
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 It appears to be a unanimous decision in the affirmative. It is a unanimous decision. So I don't have that piece of paper with me, but I will leave that with Andy tomorrow too.
Couldn't you just print it?
Can you print it, Bill, from your, yeah.
I could share with Matt.
Sure can.
Does it have the signature page on the end?
I believe we do not have a.
No, I didn't
Is
hook
it
the
the same,
signature.
is it the same?
No, you did it. You did it.
Okay. Okay, so we'll get that, Mark and I will sign it, and they'll both be over at the town clerk's office, okay, folks?
Okay, here comes Beth.
Yes.
Okay.
The Dover Town Clerk.
Yes. But if Kate and Chad, I know Dwight's over here all the time, if you two need me to run it up to Wardsboro, I'll do that for you. If you want to get together, buy me lunch, dinner, I'm easy.
Okay, you're good, buddy.
Okay, so the next item up there was for Bill, and then
Oh,
Bill.
Kim has her hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tammy, go ahead.
May I just make a suggestion that somebody write something up for the bucket bill so that this can go out to the community to explain it?
Yeah, we can do that in January. So, because the votes are in February. So,
Right, and I think the deadline's the 10th typically,
of January?
January 10th, yeah.
the 10th of each month
Okay, so,
for the
hey,
bucket bill.
we have a district clerk. Maybe the district clerk could write something up. Who's a district clerk?
Dwight Laura.
Laura's trying to talk.
Laura, go ahead.
That was not me.
Oh. Okay.
Dwight's got his.
Dwight, go ahead. Oh, Dwight, you sound like Donald Duck.
Donald Duck's a little more clear.
Dwight, you're gonna have to get off and you're gonna have to call in because we can't hear what you're saying.
Dwight, did you want to write something for the bucket bill?
Okay.
I'm not saying it.
He gave a thumbs up to writing something
All right.
for the bucket bill.
Okay.
We playing tree. No?
Thank you, Dwight. Oh, I tell you, you gotta listen to the recording, you're gonna laugh.
Thank you for including my middle initial, Bill, on this one.
No,
That was
Oh, that was you?
rich.
Okay.
I don't know why it didn't happen on the other one. Okay, so.
Me.
So Dwight had asked, if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna let Bill answer a question that Mark had. And then if nobody has anything else for the superintendent, we're gonna let him escape.
I'm making you host.
Go ahead, Mark.
So, the first part of my question is more a thank you and statement to Peter for all the time and effort and all the minutes that you have done for us. Very much appreciated, and you're sorely going to be missed. The second part of that is a question for Bill on who is going to be doing our minutes, or not necessarily a name, but
Sure.
you have somebody.
We do not have anybody. We've posted the position.
Okay.
And until a person is found, it's the responsibility of the clerk of the board to take the minutes, which is our good friend Dwight Borum, who is going to
Who's not on right now?
Who's gone?
practice.
He's in the waiting room.
Matt's got him.
Can I make a suggestion based on having read minutes many years back, that maybe we ask Lori whether she'd be interested in temporarily doing them for us?
Lori O'Hearn.
Yep, because she did a great job when she used to do them. And obviously pay her.
Well, of course. And she wouldn't have to physically be here, so she might be amenable. But Matthew?
But you also have an admin in both buildings, so I think to be fair, we should offer it to both of them.
Tammy and Matt asked their admins if they'd be interested in doing it.
And I would like them on the Zoom though, because I think it's important that we make sure we get the.
No, to be on the Zoom. They just don't
Right.
have to physically be
Right.
here.
Yeah, I don't want.
It can be a little bit
to
more
just.
relaxed.
A lot of people do minutes just off of. See, but like with him going back and forth with the camera, I would be getting seasick. But anyways.
Yeah, in worst case scenarios, right, we do
Yeah.
have the recording.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
Hey, Peter, I was gonna wait till the end of the meeting to kind of celebrate it with you, but since Bill's leaving, we do really appreciate, I know it's been a lot of years, I know you served a lot you've done a lot for the community of Marlboro and for Wyndham Central and for our schools, and I wish you the best, and I noticed the stuff on your face, I didn't know, are you gonna be going on a sleigh ride here in another 7 or 8 days?
It's not growing fast enough.
Oh. Well, it could be magical. But anyways, I think I speak on behalf of everybody. We really appreciate all you've done for us.
You're gonna make me cry.
Well, don't cry.
I'm serious.
Well, we do appreciate it. I know it's not easy listening to all of us. So, again,
It's the best job.
well,
It's really one of the best things I've ever done in my life. It's me you should be thanking, all of you. For one thing, there's not a bad apple in the whole bunch. And that applies to the entire SU. Everybody's pulling their weight. Nobody's all involved in their ego. It's incredible. You have something really unusual here. It's the last thing I wanted to do was stop, but my fingers aren't working as well. It takes me 2 hours to do a 1-hour job now.
well,
Besides, I gotta write a book.
I also,
We're gonna let Laura in because she probably won't participate in it.
I've said to Bill and I've said to some other people, I've always felt that if the rest of the state education would just follow the lead of Wyndham Central, that we would have the greatest state education throughout our entire state. So I really appreciate that, Peter, because I know you've done almost every board, you've done our Wyndham Central meetings since you've been around too, right?
Yep.
So again, we appreciate it. Laura, I know you were gone for a little bit, but we thank Peter, and we can't say any more because we're going to make him cry on camera.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
So I get the unique pleasure of working with Peter with several boards. The Marlboro board, the Stratton board, the Wyndham board, and this board. And Peter gets a unique view into how our freedom and unity of WCSU works, how an SU works, how participatory democracy is incredibly important. And I've been fortunate enough to have many offline conversations with Peter about democracy, about Vermont, about caring for a community. And you've always uplifted me, Peter. And I'm going to miss those chats. I'm going to miss your viewpoint. I'm going to miss you sharing your thoughts, our little 5 to 10 minutes before meetings, after meetings. And so you'll hear this speech at the other 3 meetings, but I really want to thank you, man. You've made all of our lives a little bit more fulfilling. So very much appreciate it. Good man.
Well, don't forget, Peter, you got to come to the January WCSU board meeting so that we can talk about you again.
I love you so.
Okay, so thank you, Peter. We're going to move on. Transportation requests, is that still open there, Mark? We left it under old business because we know that there was a request from Wardsboro.
It is old business and it is still open. I'm just starting to get caught up on my long to-do list, so
Okay.
depending on when we meet in January, we should have something before then.
Okay, so Kate, we'll remember that. We'll leave that on until that gets closed.
Okay, and I think there was correspondence today.
Yeah, I'm gonna cover that under correspondence.
Okay.
So then, financials, we don't have to sign financials, do we?
We don't, not tonight.
Okay. So new business, principals reports. Tammy, we'll let you go first. No, that's under here. On new business. Go
So
ahead.
a written report was submitted for this meeting, and I hope you all had a chance to check it out. Certainly here for questions if they need to be answered.
Okay, so there's nothing new to add from either Matt or Tammy. Does anybody have any questions? Go ahead, Mark.
I want to ask this every time I read through these subheadings, personalized learning. Now, a few years ago, I started talking about personalized learning, at least at Dover. I'm wondering where we are on that, beyond this. You're talking about preparing students for middle and high school in different fashions. So I'm just curious where we are.
Yeah. So I think what you're talking about is personalized learning plans.
Yeah.
That's part of Act 77. This is part of EQS, so these are the categories that we report out on based on the ed quality standards. So personalized learning is, how is the school meeting children's needs individually? So that's what this is about. I think what you're talking about is the personalized learning plan initiative.
Yeah, and it's just because I see the words there that
you get reminded of it.
It triggers it.
Yeah.
And I think you guys started it for 5th and 6th grade or something, and we're going to be moving.
Yes, so 5th and 6th grade in Dover are doing them. They're creating them, and they're working with their teachers to, establish them so that kids can put some portfolio items in and document their learning styles and essentially just be more aware of how they learn and what their needs are as learners.
Do they travel with the student to middle school?
Each middle school seems to have its own way of doing it, so they can print out their PLP at the end and take it with them, or if they're, we use the Google Docs platform, so they can also transfer ownership of their PLP depending on where they go and what that school uses for a platform,
So you're doing 5th and 6th graders now?
5th and 6th,
You still have plans to move that further down the line?
Not at this point. I'm not planning to move it down the line at this point. We have to wait and see. I think we have to wait and see. There aren't any, Tammy, are you aware of any elementary schools doing PLPs even in 5th grade is a rare, I think is pretty rare. Do you want to add anything to that?
No, I'm not aware. I know that some schools use more of a digital kind of platform where it shows sort of growth over time. So in the kindergarten year, they might display some of the work that they did as a kindergartner, and then that gets moved on to the next teacher. The next teacher takes it over. They're able to add some more documentation to that, and then by the end of 5th or 6th grade, sort of travels with them that way. So there are digital platforms that I know that some schools are using, but it isn't, I would say it's more a rarity than a norm.
So what would be the reason for not moving those down the line, which is the wrong terminology, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
All
mean,
grades versus just a couple
Yeah.
grades.
so I think the thing that holds us back, and I would certainly want to hear what Tammy says, but we personalize learning for every child in the building. So it's not a question of whether or not learning is being personalized. I think the question is really about whether or not the student is actively engaged in that planning process and how they're engaged in that. And at this point, with, coming off of COVID and trying to, figure out where we are and fill gaps and bring everybody back up, I would say the majority of our energy is going into that with kids, particularly the younger kids who lost some time and trying to refill those gaps. So at this point, the energy is best spent on that as compared to putting the energy into developing those plans for the younger kids, having the kids develop those plans.
That sort of implies that you would have the intention of moving towards that as we get past the awful COVID years.
Yeah, I would not rule it out for sure. I mean, obviously, a student's awareness of their own learning styles and the things that, help them learn is incredibly important to become self-aware. And I think lots of teachers would argue that there is no low age limit for that all children are in some ways aware of their learning. And so it's a matter of, I think, systematizing that and trying to work that into the primary grades is a greater challenge than it is for the upper grades.
Is Wardsboro doing these plans for 5th and 6th graders also?
We have not been doing them for the 5th and 6th graders. Sam has not. One thing that we have added is prior to conferences, kids have done kind of like their own self-assessment on how they're doing in certain areas, both academically and socially and emotionally. It's the same form that would go home to parents, but the kids actually fill it out on themselves. So it's kind of like a check-in. I'm sure, Kate, I think you might have received those as a parent.
Yes. And it's all in line with the Wardsboro ROAR system, the respect, ownership, achieving, and responsibility.
Yeah, and safety. And then I think they also do a check-in as far as how they feel they're doing in reading, writing, and math as well, and how they're feeling as far as how they present themselves in the classroom.
You said, just a follow-up to Matt. You've been doing these, 3 years now, 2 years? You started just before COVID, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, I think we started exploring them that year, 1920.
It probably can't answer this yet because it hasn't been long enough, but I'm really curious on whether you've seen a change in the attitude of the students towards learning as this becomes more ingrained in their education. So as they are exiting our doors, are you seeing a change based on the fact that they have these plans and have gone through this process versus prior to that?
I mean, anecdotally, I would say yes. When you talk to kids who have gone to other schools, and they come back and they talk to us about their experience, I definitely hear them referring to things that they've learned here, ways that they've learned, the ability to know how they're, what kind of learner they are, and how that has affected their ability to be successful after Dover. I'm not saying that didn't happen before in some way. I'm sure it did. But I think I would say yes, kids are definitely more aware of how they learn, of how they study, of what their interests are, of their ability to manage workloads, for sure. Yeah.
I'll speak just for myself. I think that the concept is really exciting and great thing, and I do hope that as COVID is more and more in our rearview mirror, that this is something that you move for all grades, or at least start sending to the somewhat lower grades.
Yeah,
I think it
for sure.
really is having, looking back at my own experience, I think if I had understood a lot of this material in, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, I probably would have had a pretty different route in my education. So
Yeah, isn't it something?
You would have been a doctor or professor?
probably doctor.
Cool.
Instead of waiting until I was much older to get into medicine.
Are you set? I'm sorry.
I'm good, yeah, thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions, comments on the principal's report? Dwight? Oh, go ahead, Kate, and then Dwight.
Okay. I have a comment. I was able to attend as a parent both the community lunch at Wardsboro and the circus that the Wardsboro students did, and it was really kind of crazy because it felt like the before times in a lot of ways to bring those two events back, and it was really cool, like to see the sense of community and to be part of that again. So thank you to the school club and then to the administrations and all the teams that worked hard to put both of those events together. That was great.
Kate, I love that term, and I'm going to use it if it's okay, and I'll give you credit. The before times.
BT.
The before
BT.
Yeah. Thank you, Kate. Go ahead, Dwight.
Thanks, Rich. I guess that's actually from Matt, I think. I noticed there was a school-wide discipline plan, and getting back to the before times and the during times. I was wondering if was that a result of some difficulty with socialization for the kids during, coming out of COVID? I know there's a lot about that in the news, and I'm just wondering if that was a reaction to having some of those issues with the students based on socialization after COVID. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the quick answer, Dwight, is yes. When the Dover staff, we met in August to help prioritize what we were planning to try to accomplish this year. And the one thing that rose to the surface in August was to standardize the way we address issues that would be traditionally considered discipline. So in the past, teachers had always kind of done their own thing. Wardsboro uses PBIS practice, which is the positive behavior intervention and supports model. And Dover had never adopted any program like that. So the teachers actually identified this as their highest priority this year. They formed a committee. They produced a proposal and presented it to the staff. And so that's what we did. And we're working out some of the bugs now, but we feel like consistent language, consistent expectations, and consistent response in a positive manner is really important to kids right now. And we wanted to make sure we were doing whatever we could to support all of that need.
Yeah, I think that's great because, there's been a lot of reports even in here in Vermont with a little bit later on in age, middle and high school, the kids are really having trouble adjusting, and to get after that at an earlier age, I'm sure it will be helpful at that point as well.
Yeah, agreed.
Are you all set, Dwight?
Yeah, thank you.
Is Laura gone?
She's gone.
I want to say one thing that just kind of struck me a little, Matt, and I was surprised. I thought we'd agreed a few years ago in Wardsboro that we would do a individualized student-directed learning plans for all grades, not just the 5th and 6th. And I understand that, we got COVID thrown at us, and stuff. So is it your intent to not ever do it for everybody, or is it something that we can maybe have a timeline?
Yeah, it's, I don't want to speak for Wardsboro, but for Dover, it's definitely not our intent to not do it down to pre-K. It's just we've had to prioritize other issues, particularly for our primary grades, so that we can give them what they need.
Okay.
And BT.
To get back to BT.
Get back to BT.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Tam.
No, I mean, from my perspective, I think the teachers just need more training on how to get it going.
Well, and if we need more training, then let's talk about it. Budget time is coming up. Is that
Yeah.
something we should budget for?
I mean, if it's something that is a big push from the board and, you know, it's something you want us to do, then I think that we should look into it.
Earthquake?
Huh?
Earthquake?
No, it's a speaker.
Oh, the speed, okay.
Tammy, when you were talking, the table was shaking, just so you know.
I'm earth shattering, I guess.
You are.
You are.
That's why we love you. What does everybody else think? I mean, I know Mark and I have kind of taken a lot of the conversation away. I had always felt that was really important. I know when we first formed River Valleys, we had discussed that it shouldn't just be for the older, you know, everybody was talking about it for high school, and I thought we could really lead the way by doing it for our elementary students also. I'd just be interested in everybody's thought. Is that something you want Matt and Tammy to put some effort into, or do we, you know, and what do you folks think too, Matt and Tammy? I mean, is that something we should maybe talk about next year budget time, give you one more year? Go ahead, Tammy.
I wonder if we should hear from Mr. Tebow at one of the meetings that he's at, and just hear his perspective, and if it is being utilized at the high school level and middle school level, before we put a lot of energy in it, because I thought we were kind of getting away from them, but I'd love to hear what his perspective is on that. Just a suggestion, though.
So, Peter, you got to do me a big favor, buddy. In the minutes, put down that when we have our meeting with Mr. Tebow, that we discuss individualized learning,
Personalized
learning plans for elementary students, and his thoughts on that. Hang on.
Yes, at which meeting?
Which meeting?
He's coming to a meeting. I don't know when, but when he does, well, we do have him on the agenda. If you've got it in the minutes, I tend to remember that. And then Kate helps with the agenda so that we can, you know, all be on the same page.
Done.
Okay. Thank you. Go ahead.
Kate has her hand up.
Oh, go ahead, Kate. I'm sorry.
So it makes total sense to talk it makes total sense to talk
You talked to Bob.
yes, to talk to Bob first. But, you know, from a human perspective, like, I think Mark brought up a really good point. Like, if he had known his learning style, you know, years ago, like, it could have changed the trajectory of his life. Like, I think that's true for all of us. Like, I think I was in college when I started taking classes and hearing about the different learning styles and things like that. And just to know that people learn in different ways, I think that's such a valuable piece of information. And it's important for kids to know that, like, there are some people who can hear something and they're an auditory learner and it makes total sense to them. But then there's other people who are more active learners, or, you know, I just think that's really valuable information for humans to learn. And if we can give that information to our kids at a young age, that's super important. But yeah.
I can definitely attest to that too, because I did very, very well in Mrs. Twitchell's algebra class because...
Do you remember your elementary school teacher?
No, this is high school.
Even high school, how do you
And because Mrs. Twitchell was a legend.
You cannot forget Mrs. Twitchell.
No, Mrs. Twitchell was a great teacher. And I did really well in algebra because I was taking a pumps class for the fire department, and it was all algebraic formulas. So I'm like, wow, this really relates to something. But I got to tell you, our geometry teacher, Mr. Redfield, I sat through that class. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't tell you and I tell you, doing carpentry, I wish I had paid a lot more attention in that. So I really believe that, you know, if you make it relative to stuff that people are interested in, and that's why I think a plan like that makes sense, or at least it seems to me, because, you know, if you're really interested in it, you're going to pay attention to it. If you're not interested in it, I'm going to be looking out the window at the dump trucks going down Route 35.
True.
But, so, yeah, Kate, can you make sure too that we definitely have this discussion? I think it's important, and I think Mark agrees, you agree.
I just have one other comment.
Go ahead.
So I just want to make sure that we are setting ourselves up as a district to send our kids wherever they go. And most of our students don't go to Leland and Gray. So I'm a little less concerned about what they do than what maybe Brattleboro does or BVA. And probably most importantly to me is what Rich just said and what Kate said before. I think that the concept of this is to learn how to learning to learn, which is different than learning. Learning how one learns is valuable regardless of where one goes to school.
Absolutely, or what you do after.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things Dover really started doing well when we concentrated on giving the young, starting with the preschool, to have it so that students were reading at the appropriate grade level or better early on, because then it makes everything you build on easier. So I think that's important. So you know what, folks, I think the reason Tammy suggested Mr. T was because the high schools changed those plans a little bit. So maybe, I think, is that what you were asking for?
Yeah, it wasn't specifically toward Leland and Gray, Mark, when I made the comment. It was just more to get his perspective as a high school principal. It wasn't specific to Leland and Gray, though.
That makes sense.
It's just more coming from his world.
And he would be the one to help us move this forward if we decide to do that.
Right.
Okay, go ahead, Dwight. You had your hand up.
Oh, sure. I just kind of want to reiterate what pretty much everyone's saying. And it was my understanding that we were going to start the focus on the 5th and 6th graders and then maybe work our way down to the lower grades. And so I would like to at least see that those grades focus on for the next school year or the next whatever fiscal year we're going to call it. I think it's important to go hand in hand with what Matt was saying too, about discipline, having students have socialization, all that kind of stuff, and having a personalized plan is part of that. So I think that's going to be very helpful for them leading into high school, like Mark says as well. So I think that's definitely been a focus of the board, and I'd like to see that move forward.
Rich, can I
Yes.
add just two things?
Yes, please do, sir.
So just a couple things to add. I think when PLPs came out, the intention was to bring them down to the lower grades. But I would say, and Tammy, tell me if this is your impression as well, that the agency has backed off below 7th grade on PLPs in terms of what they're pushing down. So that changes things a little bit, but not entirely, because we still value the idea of PLPs and the concept. So some of what you guys are talking about, we would refer to as agency, which is those teachers making connections, like, why is it important for you to know geometry? And if the teacher can connect with you on that, you are much more likely to remember that. So,
That's true, yes.
So we do that with all of our kids all the time at every grade. So just because there isn't that specific product in our in the primary program, I just want to make sure you understand that everybody in school gets that now. That's a primary focus, I believe, of every classroom, is to make connections with kids that are meaningful to them with the material that you want to teach or that you have deemed as important, so that they can make connections to their life and make a deeper connection with the content. So that's a wonderful evolution from the days of, here's the curriculum, it doesn't matter why we're doing it because I say we're doing it. Whereas now, or even then, there were some teachers that could make those connections really well, and you remember for your whole life. Yeah.
So is that in both buildings? That's not part of the IB, that's just
No,
part of
that's
the...
I think that's just contemporary teaching practice. Would you agree, Tim?
Yeah, I think it's about instructional practice and what's best practice.
So this was a really good conversation. Thank you for getting us off on a tangent there, Mark.
Oh, you're welcome.
No,
See, and you said you didn't remember geometry.
I did. I just remember Mr. Redfield. Anyways, I think let's follow up on this. And Tammy, maybe, and Matt, maybe it's not so much in having these plans, but maybe it's confirming or or supporting or working with the staff and on some in-service training to reinforce this for you. But let's definitely, Kate and Peter, keep it on, make a big note, and let's keep it on the agenda, because I think it's a good conversation. I think it's really going to help out. So, yeah, Dwight's shaking his head. Kate, you're good with that? Chad, we haven't heard much from you all. Are you okay?
I'm doing well, yes, thank you.
Okay, sir. So let's move on.
Were kids on board?
I'll tell you later. Annual financial review sheet. So in your packet was one of these really cool sheets, and it was the financial review. Do you know by whom the following is maintained? The school district checkbook, the receipts, the cash and check receipts, school district payments. I think you all got it in your packet. What I'd like to have you all do for me is fill it out, see how you get it, and send it to me. I'm going to tally up your scores.
Homework.
No, it's not homework. It's just kind of, this is really important. One of our responsibilities is to make sure that the money's, being properly looked after. So usually what you all used to do is you all used to just say, okay, and we'll make a motion to allow the chair to sign it. So both at Wyndham Central and at River Valley, I'm going to have you all just kind of go through this and see what you know. And then Lori completed it for us, and I told Bill I didn't want it. I told Lori I was going to open it until after we all had a chance to go through it. So I think it would be really important. This will just kind of show how financially secure we are. And
I think that's an improvement, doing it this way.
no, I
Definitely think so.
yeah, so, and then we'll get it signed, and then, don't worry, Mark, you're going to get to this for Wyndham Central. So, hey, Dwight and Mark, go ahead and fill a second one out for Wyndham Central, too. So is that okay with everybody? Get it to me before the next meeting. I'll put it together. I'll include mine, and then I will, we'll see how it goes.
Rich,
Yes?
I don't think I got one. My internet was down for like 3 days, so I have a gap in some of my things that I received. Does anyone could send it to me?
It was not sent out. It was,
I thought-
it's just in the printed.
You still had a gap.
Oh, it's just in the printed package, Dwight, I'm sorry. So Mark corrected me, so will you make sure, Matt will send it out to everybody, okay?
Okay, great. So it's not just me then.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, folks. I thought they print the package that Bill sends out, but,
Okay, great. Thanks.
Bill didn't send the package out this time.
okay. And then policy, Mark had written up, and it's in the packet, but did it go out, Mark, or not?
Yeah, Bill sent it out to everybody.
Okay, so you should have in your packet a procedural on the policy, and we'd asked Mark and Kate about this a while ago, just to kind of make sure that, some policies we've had presented to us that even Mark and Kate have said, I don't know why we're doing this, and we've had others that there's been some question about. So if you will, I'm going to turn it over to Mark and Kate and just kind of run through this. Matt, do you have this? Did we put it up, or are you okay? It's just the board members, so. Chad and Dwight, do you have this, or should we put it up so you can see it?
I have it.
Okay. Okay, so Dwight's good too, so go ahead, Mark and Kate.
So, first of all, this is a work in progress. So, some of it's still a stream of consciousness. I basically just wanted to, and Kate, I apologize, between your power and my other issues, we didn't get to work on this too closely. Hopefully it meets with your approval. Just put together some basic information about the committee and how we're made up, and then kind of what we do in regards to whether we are reviewing a policy or it's a new policy. I don't think there's anything on here that is overly surprising to anybody. You all should already know, but if you don't, if you go to policies.rvusd.net, I think, you can see the spreadsheet that I maintain of all of our policies. And on the right-hand column, second to last column, is a next review date column. That is what we go by for when we're going to be reviewing policies. Right now, an automated email gets sent to Kate and I, but whoever's the members of the policy committee would receive those emails so that you know what's coming up. You don't want me to go through this whole thing, do you?
No.
Okay. Are there any questions?
Dwight or Chad or Kate, do you have anything else to add?
Mark did a really great job putting this document together, and like seeing some of it, like the motion to approve like the different policies and what we have available, like having that all in one concise place is so beautiful, Mark. I was like, ooh, that's good. I have to bookmark this and make sure I have it with me for every policy meeting when I'm always struggling with the language of what we're moving and all of that fun stuff. So you did a really nice job with your student consciousness. Thank you.
Thank you. Matt and Tammy.
Good work.
Well, Tammy's not there, but you guys are at many of our meetings. Do you have any comments or?
No, I think it's great. The system is great, and keep it up.
Tammy's back. Hi, Tammy. Chad, are you all set? And Dwight?
Yep, I am. Yeah, I agree with Kate. Putting that together, Mark, made very great streamlined sense. Your stream of consciousness was perfect for how policies work, and so we can follow along, as we come to, what needs to be warned prior to and as we revise. So it's a great roadmap for whomever works in policy going forward for the board.
Great.
Okay, so Mark, I got a few corrections. I'd like or a few comments. As a former policy chairman.
Got it right then?
No. So I just, on the second paragraph, the policy committee reviews, and you mentioned such as C10 and F50.
Yep.
I think I would like to just see C10 and what it is, just so that people don't have to go look it up.
Okay.
And I don't remember what they are either. But
I can tell you what they are.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, but
Okay,
I
then I
think
won't tell you.
it would be good, because why are we reviewing more frequently? Well, I can go look at it.
I'll put the reasons that they're reviewed frequently also.
Yeah, because I think that's a good point. And then under policies may be brought up, I like 1 and 2. 3, the board as a whole requests a review. I think that the board is, any board member may bring up at a meeting the request to review, but a majority of the board will spark the review, or, so like if Dwight comes in and says, hey, I really want you to review this policy, I have some concerns with it, we can have a brief discussion, and if the board votes to do that, that would be a majority, but I think it should be a vote of the board to direct.
That's what that says.
The board as a whole requests a review.
The board as a whole would, I could put the word vote in there, but.
Because when I read that, I read it as all 6 of us have to say to you, review a policy, and then you'll do it.
Okay, so whole here is us versus the committee.
Right.
So I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, maybe just make it.
I can reword that.
Because remember, we may not be here in a couple of years, and people may look at this and wonder what they were talking about. And I think, again, if a member of the public requests a review, they need to bring it to a board meeting, and the board will discuss it and refer back to 3.
So you don't want the public to be able to bring it to the committee, is what you're saying?
Well, I think if a member of the public requests a review, 2 or 3 above would have to, because if I could just see people requesting a lot of reviews, and you folks, the policy committee, feeling like they need to do it because the public requested it, but I think if it comes to the board, the policy committee will still have a say and will vote on whether or not you should review it.
Okay.
Because again, the other part of it is any member of the policy committee can request a review. So it's not that you're doing it because the public requests you to do, you're doing it because you want to review it.
That's fine.
I thought it was really, really good. And then my only other comment is on the second page, the last paragraph, once the board has taken action, a PDF of the policy may be sent to Meg. We should never do names, we should do positions.
That was because that was a last minute addition as I was kind of doing a quick review of it. As I was typing it, I was like, this shouldn't be there.
Okay. And the only other comment I wanted to make was we used to have a policy on policies that said less is more. So I don't know if we can fit that in there somewhere, but policies are very restrictive, and unless we really need it, but I don't know if that's more of a, I don't know how that fits in with this.
I think that's more of
Philosophy?
We actually have a policy on policies.
At 8:30, isn't it?
I was going to ask you.
No.
I was going to ask you if you remember the number.
I feel like it's 8:30, but I could be misspeaking.
Yeah. Roles and adoption of school board policies. Just so everybody knows, I bring this binder to every meeting so that we have a complete completed policy manual.
So is this, Mark, are you gonna
I'll update it.
you'll update it and then we'll come and discuss it at the next meeting or the meeting after?
Sure.
Okay. Are there any other comments for Mark?
I mean, ones I want to.
We'll just address it the next thing.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I don't want to put you on the spot. You did a really good job and I appreciate this. This was, I know it wasn't easy. It's kind of a pain in the neck. Is there any other new business that anybody has? Because I have a couple if everybody's all set. Okay. Number one, I did include this article. It was in your packet, so I don't know, Dwight, if you saw it or Peter.
It didn't get sent out. Did not get sent out.
Okay, so it didn't get sent out, but it is in the packet if you were here. It's called Understanding Equalized Pupils. And I found this, every year I put together a budget book in a 3-ring binder for Dover. And anything good that came in, I would put a little sticky note on it so that you could find it easily at town meeting if somebody said, I don't understand equalized pupils. And because we just voted at, Dwight and Mark at the Wyndham Central to do our budget by the equalized versus the other count, the year count, I thought it was really good. So I wanted you to be aware of this, take a look at it, and if there's any questions, we can discuss it at the next meeting.
Can I just make one comment on it? I just want people to be aware that FY25, this is no longer going to be valid.
But it is valid now.
It is valid now, yeah. FY25 it won't be.
Right. But that's not bad because it lasted 20 years, over 20 years, which in the education world is not bad.
A long time.
It is. And then the only other thing, I want to make an announcement, and I'm very happy for me, and I'm very happy for you all. But I had put in, there was a gentleman, Oliver Olson, out of Jamaica, who was on the State Board of Education, and he resigned back in November or October. So I did put my name in, and I'm honored to have been appointed to the State Board of Education. And I want to thank Governor Scott and his administration for this opportunity to serve our state. My years of service on our local and supervisory boards have prepared me to work well with the State Board and Vermont's education community. I know that in the next few years there are going to be a number of statewide challenges as a result of COVID, court decisions, and demographic changes happening in and around Vermont. I look forward to working with the boards to bring about the best solution for our students, parents, residents, taxpayers, educators, and administrators. And Matt and Tammy, you weren't last just because I thought the least of you, but I appreciate and I hope that we can do a lot of good for you. So it became official on December 12th. The letter was sent out, and we actually have a meeting on Wednesday that I'm going to attend, so I just thought I'd let y'all know. I'm very excited. It's something I actually asked about several years ago, and the timing just wasn't right, and this time it seemed to have worked, so something I'm excited about. And then...
Hey, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
That is an awesome appointment.
I hope it is. I hope it works well for everybody.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Dwight.
Mark.
Thanks, Kate.
Does that mean you go to Most Peculiar more often now?
No, they're Zoom meetings. They haven't had a live meeting since 2020. So it used to be you'd go for a full day at a high school and they'd cater it, snack, breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, a departing snack.
No free lunch, Rich.
No, so it's 4 hours. It's a 4-hour meeting. It's on Wednesday, and there's a pretty interesting agenda. I'll send it all to you. It's on Teams versus Zoom. So I know I've done Teams before, but
this is very exciting, and I'm really pleased to have you representing us on the board. I think, as we mentioned earlier in the meeting, we have a lot of good things going on in our area, and to have your perspective there will be a real plus for that board.
Thank you, Dwight. I appreciate that. Thank you, Peter. So on to the consent agenda. I'm going to break this up a little bit. We have the minutes of the December 5th meeting. Does anybody have any issue with that? Any comments? You all set? Go ahead.
We're not taking a vote, but if we were, I would abstain since I wasn't here.
Okay. And I'll let you
I don't
know.
have the name. Sorry, I don't have the name of the videographer or the DCTV guy.
Oh, it's the same guy we've had for years, Galen
Galen, what?
Robinson.
Got it, thanks.
He's not talking this time. I failed this meeting by not getting him to say something on camera. And then the last thing I have is correspondence. We actually have correspondence, first time in a long time. So Billy Hall sent an email to Matt Martin saying, please let me know if this doesn't work, and I have to type a letter out. To whom it may concern, I would like to have a Dover school bus go down Captain Copeland Road and out Yaw Road next year. And I would like to have the bus stop at or near my house at 109 Captain Copeland Road in East Dover, Vermont. So Matt, can you let her know that this is fine? She just has to make a formal request. And Kate, I know, I think Dwight, you're involved, or Chad. I'm going to hand this, okay, it's you, Dwight. I'm going to hand this official request to Mark. And then you folks will have to take that up, but she's not requesting it till next year. But it's something that if it's going to change, have a cost issue, we should just check with the administration, and then if it doesn't have a cost issue, but that should be something brought back to the board with your folks' recommendations.
Doesn't Yaw Road close part of the road?
No.
Close part of the year?
No, Yaw Road goes all the way out into Marlboro, and that part of it closed, but she wants you to come down Captain Copeland. Her house is on Captain Copeland, and then you make the left and go down Yaw Road, and you can come back out, so they don't have to try to turn around there. Okay, so Matt, Tammy, you are all good?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll see that, and let me know when you guys are ready to discuss that, or just send me an email, and then we'll get it on the agenda.
We'll kill two birds with one stone when we meet beginning of January.
Okay. So, January, our next meeting, the first Monday in January, is a holiday because New Year's actually falls on a Sunday, the 1st, so the 2nd is when we're celebrating. So, when do you all want to meet? The 9th is available for Lori and Bill. Matt, Tammy, are you okay on the 9th?
I think so.
Looks good.
Okay, and with the first one's in Wardsboro usually.
Yeah, we have
Right.
middle school information that night here, but that goes from 5 to 6, so
Okay.
I could zoom in after.
I can't make it till like 7. So are you folks all okay if we start at 7 and maybe do our executive session at the end?
On January 9th?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the next week, the 16th, which is the third Monday is Martin Luther King Day, which is also a holiday.
Yeah, I'm feeling confident that we at least get through one of these. We can figure out the January one. We're also going to have to schedule some hearings to explain the special article and the special meeting. And, you know, we will have to do them in Dover, I think 10 days before the actual meeting. But we'll also have to, we do one in Wardsboro, but that can be ahead of time. So we may want to think about just incorporating, Mark's pen just ran away from, wasn't treating it well. We're just gonna have to think about those meeting dates. So what I'll do is I'll put together some dates and send out an email, but let's pencil in the 9th for now at 7 o'clock in Wardsboro.
Can I suggest that we do the same for the 23rd and just skip the 16th, because I know that Laura won't want me. We really shouldn't. We might as well schedule both January meetings at the same time.
Yeah, I'm just thinking the 23rd. there's some reason, so we're meeting February 28th for the ballot vote. And the 27th is the ballot, 28th is our meeting.
Right.
So if we have to do it, so we could do then the Wardsboro meeting on the first Monday in February,
So the 6th.
and then do the Dover one at the Dover meeting on February 20th,
which
and then we'll
is-
still be within the 10
President's
days.
Day.
President's.
And that's President's Day,
Okay.
and school vacation week, February 20th, right?
So many Mondays off in January. and
What?
February.
So
many
that whole
Mondays
week is off? The whole President's Week?
School is off that week.
Yeah. They're always off the week before town meeting day.
And this year, there's a week
We're gonna-
between.
Okay, so let's do this for now then. Everybody pencil in the 9th and the
23rd?
23rd. And then we'll confirm that. We'll definitely do the 9th, and then we'll confirm the other ones, and we'll figure out the February meetings to make sure we can do a half-hour hearing ahead of time, or a half-hour review of what we're voting on, so everybody knows what we're voting on. Is that okay with everybody?
Yep.
Okay, so other than saying goodbye to Peter and wishing everybody a very happy holiday, and hopefully the snow stops soon, and there's nothing else going on, I'd entertain a motion.
Thank you very much, Peter. We appreciate it.
Peter.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
I'll second. Oh,
Okay,
Next.
everybody say aye and say goodbye, Peter, and wave.
Bye, Peter.
Aye, goodbye, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
I'll be missed.
Hi, Peter.
Peter, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
be
you,
missed.
folks. We're all in favor, so we're recessing the meeting. We'll see you all next year.